What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs. Now, I would like to start off this episode by saying it will not be video recorded. Why? Well, because it is 6:43 in the morning. I have so much stuff to do today. I've been doing so much stuff. I was supposed to record this episode yesterday, and I got caught up doing other stuff that I'll tell you about in a few. But it's super early in the morning, and I just setting up the camera and setting up. So what I had to do to record, I know it's not too much, but I have to so the space that I'm using, the table that I'm using to record when I video record, in that space is actually my altar space. So I take apart my altar every Thursday, and I sit at it, and then I record the podcast, and then I have to put the altar all back together. Now, I know it's not a lot, but I have a lot of stuff on my altar. I'm moving from a giant floor altar to a little tiny table altar, so it's a lot of stuff to put back and rearrange. And then just also that it didn't take me forever, but it took me longer than it should have to upload last week's video episode, and just to get the video right, to get the audio for it, and then to do that. And then I don't have time to do that today, and I got caught up with not having time to do that last week, and I need to remove at least this week's video from my schedule because I have so much stuff to do. A little bit about that, I got a random freelance photography job for a couple that's getting married soon. So I took over 200 pictures, and I have so many pictures to edit, along with my work schedule days being added because the studio is going to open soon. So I've been cleaning the studio. What else? I have 2 job interviews today, so I might be getting another job. I still need to record more videos for my YouTube channel other than the podcast episode. So it's a lot. I'm not going to go on another 15-minute rant about how much stuff I need to edit like last week. But I don't know. Altogether, I am thinking about removing the podcast from YouTube. I know I just started it and I only done 3 episodes, but it's not a lot, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's just, and I keep wanting to say I want to remove it because it's a lot, and it's not a lot, but it's just I don't know if I could can I do it right now? I feel like, okay, I could do it right now, but I don't want to. I really don't want to. I know I was supposed to keep my YouTube separate from my podcast, and I was going to be posting the podcast on YouTube additionally while keeping it kind of separate. But I feel like if I keep focusing on putting the podcast on YouTube, nothing else is going to go on YouTube. It's just going to be the podcast. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think if you are listening to this and if you actually watch the YouTube version of these episodes or the last 3 episodes. Tell me if it matters, or maybe you're listening to this from maybe you found me from YouTube, but you realized this week's episode wasn't on YouTube, so then you went on one of the streaming websites. Who knows? Just tell me on Instagram or Anchor if you can, possibly, because that's a thing. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth, but yeah, let me know if am I okay to not do this on YouTube? Do I have permission to not post this on YouTube? And I know I'll probably do it. I'll probably do it eventually. Or you know what? Maybe I'll just skip this week. Because it's a very busy week, and I'll keep doing it. We'll see by next week. Maybe I will do a video next week, depending on the answers that I receive from you guys. Should I or should I not keep this podcast on YouTube? Because I also feel like a lot of people will start watching me on YouTube rather than listening. And again, like I say, YouTube, I'm not monetized on YouTube. I'm monetized through this podcast, through streaming, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, etc. So anyways, enough about that. I think I'm also going to be doing a short episode this week, just because, again, I have a lot of stuff to do. I also have to work starting at 8, and it is already 6:48, so as soon as I stop working, I have to run to the interview. So I have so much stuff to do, guys. So I think I'm gonna cut this episode a little shorter than usual, but thank you so much for joining. I just wanted to kind of give you a little explanation and update of what's going on with, I guess, me, the podcast, and YouTube. So with that being said, also, wait, what was I gonna say before that? I don't think I was gonna say anything. I'm sorry. It is 6 in the morning, guys. The last time I woke up this early, actually, I woke up earlier than this to do that photo shoot that I just told you about. But other than that, I haven't waken up this early in a really long time, unless I'm busy. Like, the only time I wake up this early is if I have a lot of stuff to do, like, in the day. And I think you guys know this already, but I actually did not pull any cards for you today. I started doing the whole, like, drawing a card thing, and then I drew some cards, but they didn't seem right. Like, and I know I say this just because, like, I don't know if it's, like, bias, like, I don't want them to hear this, but, like, I don't think so. I think it was more my intuition saying that, like, I don't know, I don't do good with card readings early in the morning. Like, it depends, unless it's a very, like, auspicious morning and, like, I'm really in tune when I wake up. This morning is just not one of those mornings. Like, I woke up and I was like, okay, let me just rest my eyes for at least 5 more minutes, and then I almost fell back to sleep, and I was like, no, I do not have time for this. So yeah, I tried pulling the card, and I wasn't feeling it. And that's usually how I feel on mornings like this. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just skip it because it's gonna be a short episode anyway. So I'm actually gonna continue with what we talked about last week. I know we talked about ego and how to diminish it over time, and then I kind of left off leading into shadow work. Now, I don't have too many notes on shadow work, so I thought it would kind of be perfect to talk about this week, just because I haven't done in-depth research on how to do shadow work. I mean, like, I know how to do shadow work, but not, like, all of it. Like, there's many different types of shadow work and how to go about it. So I don't have, like, these are the types of shadow work. Like, I don't have any of that. I just have kind of, like, some basic shadow work and how to go about it. So I'm trying to remember how I started off last week. So last week, I kind of I started ending with wow, I really don't know. I think it was just, like, finding out the source of your okay, I think that's what it was, like, in a certain situation when you find ego coming into your life, trying to find the source of that, of where that ego is coming from. So that kind of started leading into shadow work, and that the basis of shadow work, I would say, well, not the basis of shadow work, I'm not going to say that, but a big part of shadow work is finding out the source of your emotions or your actions or your feelings or just anything that's within you, finding out where that's coming from, and how to go about transmuting it and changing yourself for the better. So before I get into anything on how we can find the source of these feelings, let me think. I'll give you a message for the day. Oh, you know what? See, look how early it is. I didn't even check on you guys. How are you doing? How's your week? How are you feeling? Are you drinking water? Are you eating? Are you meditating? I actually reviewed, was it last week? I think it was last week. It was either last week or the week before. I don't even know. I said something. I think it was last week that I was like, I'm going to start meditating every day. And then I'm going to give you next week, I'm going to give you the updated status or whatever. Do it. I'm horrible. I know. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to start this week too, because I feel overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed with stuff. Even though it's probably not overwhelming. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm handling it better than most people. Who knows? But maybe I will. Maybe I will. Because okay, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't actually done yoga in a long time. Not a long time, but okay, maybe over a month. And that's a long time to me, okay? And I'm realizing that I need it in my life. Like it's such a like it gives you at least an hour to ground yourself and to forget about everything and like just be there on your mat with yourself, with source, with spirit, and just flowing, and it puts you in the most meditative state. That's what it is meditation. And yoga was actually my meditation, because I did yoga every morning, like every single morning for 1 year. I may have skipped like at most 4 days, and that was because like I slept over my boyfriend's cousin's house because we went to a festival, or like I was away, or like something like that. Like it was a reasonable excuse for me not to complete my yoga session, at least for an hour. But yeah, I'm gonna put yoga back into my life, and because like I was thinking about that yesterday, and I need it. Like I need that, because it's just like when your mind is constantly racing all day, when you're just like, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and there's like your mind is filled with all these tasks that you have to do, or just so much stuff that's been happening, like you overwhelm yourself easily. And like the things may not be overwhelming, but if you don't give yourself that time to rest and to kind of clear your mind, it can feel overwhelming. And yeah, it's just it's helpful. So I'm putting yoga back into my life. Where else was I going with that? Oh yeah. See, so look, I didn't even give you your checkup. Are you doing yoga? Are you exercising? Are you going outside? I hope you guys are not sticking yourself inside. I've been outside lately. I know I've been saying that I've been inside. Did I just say I've been inside lately? I meant to say I've been outside lately. I told you last week that I spent like 3 days inside just because I've been like editing the videos and stuff like that. But since I've been going to the yoga studio more to start cleaning and stuff like that, I keep saying stuff like that. I just noticed. Said it twice. It's a very vague term, like an umbrella term, like stuff like that, and then like you just assume everything else that is similar to that. But the yoga studio that I work at is like it's like a 15-minute skate from my house, but it's mostly downhill, and it's so nice. So like I've just been like skating in nice weather in nice neighborhoods, and it's been glorious. So yeah, have you been exercising? Have you been going outside? Have you been listening to music? Have you been doing nice stuff, making art, being creative? Have you been being compassionate and loving and giving and grateful? Have you been being grateful? Have you been grateful? Been being grateful? Yeah, are you grateful? Have you been waking up and listing things that you are grateful for? That is such a great thing to do. It's such a great thing to do. Such a great thing to do. I'm sorry, it's early, guys. These early episodes, I feel like I should mark them as like early episodes, like as special episodes. I don't know. Anyways, getting right into it. Are we getting right into it? I didn't even get to give you the message. See, because I looked at the time and I was like, okay, we should start. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you hear me right now. I hope your week was fine. I hope your future week is going to be okay. But remember, there is only the present moment, and the past and the future are just illusions of the mind. Okay, well, they're not complete illusions. Well, they are illusions given to us by the illusion of time. First of all, we're in a society that's kind of based around time, and also like the sun and the moon sets, and the sun and the moon sets. Okay, the moon does not set, guys. It is always there. So is the sun actually. Well, it does set, but like it's still there. Like it's not like it disappears, It's just on another side of the world, supposedly. But yeah, it makes the illusion of time feel more very, very real. But remember, there's only this moment. Day and night does happen, but it's like it's in the same moment. I don't know how to describe that even any better. Like there's daytime, nighttime, but like that's like saying there's like up and down, and then but like they're both happening here and now. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know. It makes sense to me because I already understand it, but like if I'm explaining it to somebody who doesn't understand, I'm not sure if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm sorry. So yes, that is it. My nose is runny this morning. I don't know why. I remember like some episodes my nose is just so runny. A weird thing that happens, like once I start recording, I either have like a runny nose or like I'm like burping a lot. It's so weird. Like something weird always happens when I'm freaking recording. But I prefer to record rather than video record. Like I like the videos, like now that I'm watching them, like I really like the videos, but I also really like sitting in my bed and recording these episodes. Like it's nice and early. I'm sitting in my bed. I'm under the blanket. Well, I'm not under the blanket completely, but like I have a blanket over me and it's nice. It's comfy. I like it. Okay, well, let's begin. I'm sorry, that was weird. Okay, yeah, okay, let's get started, guys. I'm sorry, enough, with the dilly-dallying, okay? So, shadow work. What is shadow work? Shadow work is the work of the shadows. No, it's basically, what is shadow work? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna actually look up the definition of shadow work right now. Shadow work. Let's see. Shadow work. What is shadow work? There's not actually like a dictionary definition because that's not in the dictionary. Is it? No, I don't think so. Shadow work. This is an article by Center of Excellence or Centre. I don't know. I think that's Center. Demons, shadows, skeletons in the closet. We all have them, and you can't just get rid of your shadow, no matter how far you run. When the sun shines even brighter, the shadow is even more apparent. Okay, what the hell? What is this? Everyone has a dark side, even if we don't like to admit it. Shadow work can sound scary, and some parts of it may be rather uncomfortable, but is necessary work to uncover true joy and peace in life. It's sort of like Star Wars. If we let our dark side run rampant and uncontrolled, our lives will feel chaotic. This can manifest as issues with mental health diseases, feelings of low self-worth, addictions, scarcity mindset, and other mind-body health issues that can affect overall quality of life. The idea of the shadow self was first conceived by Carl Jung. Hey, Carl Jung, shout out to the homie Carl Jung. He is the homie. A 20th century psychologist from Switzerland. In his field of psychology, the word shadow refers to hidden parts of our being. This may be parts of ourselves we try to repress because they make us feel sad or wounded. This is the side we don't show society, such as when we are at work or school. It can also indicate how we internally perceive ourselves as being weak or in pain, that we feel the need to hide these parts of ourselves. Carl Jung believed in the integration of the shadow side so that our full self is acknowledged and we can live in a balanced way. And a quote from Carl Jung is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Ooh, I should get that tattooed. I like the ending. It will direct your life and you will call it fate. Like, what? Anyways, that was kind of a brief overview. I just found that right now. Don't think I had that prepared because I didn't. Carl Jung is the homie. I spent a little while studying him. I went through this phase where I was like really into psychology, and this was kind of this was before my acid trip, and after like my first acid trip. And after I graduated high school, it was kind of like it was after I got out of the millionaire mindset. Well, okay, I still kind of got that millionaire mindset, but it's not a brainwashed millionaire mindset. I think I told you guys a little about my brainwash phase where I was a millionaire. And this was in the year of 2016 after I graduated high school. I was on my millionaire-ish, and oh my god, I just realized coconut oil spilled all over my floor and then it hardened. Like, I literally just picked up the jar right now, like, because I saw it knocked over. And as I saw it knocked over, I was like, please do not have spilled. And then I picked it up, and lo and behold, there is a river of dried coconut oil, semi-dried, because it's not like you can like peel it off, it's kind of mushy. But anyways, I went, this was after high school, and I was very much on my millionaire-ish, and I got out of it, and I was, for some reason, I moved from being destined to be a millionaire to like being destined to know everything. So I was just like, I must learn everything as possible. And then like I just started studying so much, like I would wake up early, and I would set like 10 books in front of me, and I would set like 3 hours, and I would just like go through all these books. But most of it was psychology. I was very into personalities at this time. I was studying types of personalities, enneagrams, personality types, and then I was getting really into psychology, especially Carl Jung, and narcissism. I was very focused on narcissism for some reason, maybe because it was apparent in my life. I don't know, but I just got really interested in narcissism. He talks a lot about narcissism, but he also talks a lot about ego, and I was also really studying ego. It talks about the shadow self, the ego, the true self. These are all psychology terms that came from Carl Jung, actually. But he has such great theories, and I could relate to him so much. Like, a lot of the stuff I talk about ego and that I've studied and that I've learned actually comes from Carl Jung. So, anyways, so yeah, I guess he talked about the shadow self too. I'm moving back to my notes. Okay, so that's kind of what shadow work is. It's so our shadow. Okay, let's break it down. Our shadow is everything that we try to hide, right? Like I mentioned in that article that I wrote. No, I did not write that article. Yeah, so it's basically the part of us that we hide. It's kind of like our moon sign. If you guys know a little about astrology, I don't know too much, but you have different signs based on where that planet was when you were born. So you have a sun sign, which is your main sign. Like your main sign, when somebody asks you, oh, what's your sign? And you say your sign, that is your sun sign. Your moon sign is kind of your shadow self, what you hide from others, what is more personal to you. Sort of to say, I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure it's more on the shadowy side. And then there's your rising sign, which is what you show to people, what you actually present yourself to be, what people perceive you as. So there's a whole bunch of other ones, like your Mercury sign, your Mars sign, I think. But it's kind of very similar. It's what you that hidden aspect of yourself that kind of determines your personality in a way. So now that shadow holds your trauma, holds a lot of things that you're not aware of. It is your subconscious. Like Carl Jung said, once you make the subconscious conscious. So it is deep within your subconscious, and by doing shadow work, this is working on that shadow side of yourself, of your subconscious. Stuff that you may not realize is there may come up, such as traumas, and that you may have forced yourself to forget about. And doing the work with that, realizing that everything is okay, or just healing from that hidden aspect of yourself that is doing shadow work, that is healing that pain or whatever it is that's affecting your life, that is hidden, healing that, and becoming a better person from that, and taking back control of your life instead of letting things like that dictate where your life will lead. So that is kind of what shadow work is. Now, this is what sorry, I thought I lose nose rings all the time. Like, I have a rug here, and I feel like there's like 50 nose rings hidden in my rug. I have to like flip it upside down and see what falls out, because I'm pretty sure it's a couple nose rings. Yeah, so what I wrote here was shadow work, how to find the source of these emotions. Now, coming from last week's episode, ego likes to present itself in many ways. Now, ego presents itself a lot of the times due to shadow work that has not been done or dealt with. So it's hidden aspects of ourselves coming out through ego. Like I said before, I did some kind of example. Listen to last week's episode. This is kind of like a part 2 of last week's episode. I did like some example with a dress, like, oh, that girl's dress is ugly. And then trying to sit with yourself and find out why you think that girl's dress is ugly. Like, maybe it's because you were abused by someone who had the same dress, or like something like that. It doesn't have to be some ridiculous example like that, but it could be something similar, like something that triggers you now. You don't know where it's coming from, but it could be something that is hidden deep within you that you need to work on. So ways of doing this shadow work, that's kind of what this episode is. It's not too many, guys, so don't worry. Well, actually, maybe you expect more ways. I don't know. I told you I wasn't. I only got these notes, all right, guys, and it's not too many notes. So one of the ways of identifying this, I guess you can say, is, what does it remind you of? What does what do these emotions remind you of? Okay, so how to find the sources of these emotions. What does it remind you of? What does it remind you of? So say something happens, right? And you're like, okay, I'm about to do the shadow work of this, or like, I'm about to find out the source of this emotion. So the emotion arises. What does it remind you of? When was a time you felt like this before? So just like, what are you feeling? Like, what does it bring about you? What is this, whatever's happening that's making you do this? Like, what is it bringing out of you? Is it bringing out anger? Is it bringing out fear? Is it bringing out anxiousness, jealousy, envy? What does it remind you of? When was a time, I'm just going to read the questions that I have. When was a time you felt like this before? When was the time that you felt like this before? So this is actually something that helps me a lot. I think back to a time where I felt like that before. And it could be, this is how I kind of realized that I have anxiety in a way. It's not very like insane, because okay, my mom has anxiety and she has like anxiety attacks, and like I know I've said like anxiety is in the mind, and it absolutely is, but my anxiety comes in like a really weird way. Like, I don't have anxiety attacks, but I kind of do, but like not really. It's just like feelings of like not nervous. It's a combination of nervousness and like uncomfortableness, I guess you can say. Like, I just feel very uncomfortable. I feel like my heart is racing like harder, like it's beating harder, or like I just feel my heart more. It's weird, or there's like a knot in my stomach, and then like it affects, like I feel my heartbeat or something like that, and I feel like that's anxiety. I don't really know. I can't be like, that's anxiety. But it happens like at certain times that I can associate it with anxiety. Like, I'd be like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's anxiety, because it only happens to me when like I'm about to do something, or I'm waiting to do something, or if something happens, or if I feel some type of way about something. So it's a good, like, doing that, figuring out what it reminds you of, because how I figured out that was anxiety is I thought back to when was another time that I felt like this. And I was like, oh, it was when I was getting ready to do this. Oh, it was when I was getting ready to do that. And I can kind of see a similar trend of when it arises. So this is a good way of doing some shadow work and finding out the source of a certain emotion or reaction, is finding out what it reminds you of. If you can point out a similar pattern to, I usually feel like this when this happens, and you could kind of see like, oh, maybe I'm anxious around women or something like that. Like maybe it's that was such a random thing, but like it's a thing. Like maybe you feel like, maybe you get angry when you're around guys or children, or these are just random example, guys. Like I'm not thinking of anything personal, but just find a similar trend, and it can help you kind of find the source of where these emotions or reactions are coming from. So yeah, finding a time where you felt like that before. What arises when I focus on this feeling? Any memories or people of association? So these are actually the only questions I have here. That was it for the notes. What arises when I focus on this feeling? Any memories or people of association? Now, the cool thing with our mind and our brain and the way we work is that if we focus on something like that, and this is kind of like what happens in therapy, or probably therapy, and or other things that trigger certain memories. So like an example would be like if you smell something and it triggers a memory, you're like, oh my gosh, like this smell just reminded me of when I was 3 years old, or like something random like that. Our brain releases things that are hidden in our subconscious due to certain triggers. So something can trigger emotions or memories or things that are hidden deep within our subconscious. This is what the shadow work is, guys. So if we focus on these feelings, on these reactions, and try to figure out where the source comes from, if we just focus on it, meditate on it, sit with it, then a memory can possibly pop up, and you can be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I felt like this before. I remember when something similar happened to me like this. And that could be what's triggering it. So, or maybe a person, maybe it reminds you of a person. How do you feel about that person? Then you can move on from there. Does this remind you of someone? Does this feeling remind you of someone? Did this person make you feel this way before? How does that make you feel? What is your relationship with that person? Have they always made you feel like that? Just things like that, and you can go on from there. Always ask questions. I feel like shadow work, and the most important part of doing shadow work, is asking questions, and keep asking questions until you can't ask questions anymore. It's kind of like I don't know if I did those. I think I said I was going to do like ego exercises at the end. I guess I'll do them at in this episode. But so I don't think I did them. A great ego killing exercise is the question, who am I? Who am I? Somebody I listen to, a YouTuber, his name is Vishuddha Das. I've mentioned him before. He has "Who am I" tattooed on his hand because it is his most powerful ego-breaking technique. Who am I? Asking yourself, who am I? And trying to answer the question is ego-shattering. Who am I? Oh, I am Natalia. I am not my name. Who am I? I am... You could say I am human. That is your species. Who are you? Are you like, you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your family, your role in society, you're not any of that. Like, who is the I that is speaking? Are you the brain? No, that comes with the human body. Who is the thought? Like, who is thinking? Who is that I? And you're trying to figure it out, and you absolutely can't because it's unfathomable. And yeah, it's ego shattering. So if you kind of just go through that with yourself, you'll find the power in it, guys. I'm trying to remember why I started saying that. I don't know why I started saying that. Anyways, yeah, I guess I don't know what I was saying with that. Freak, I hate when that happens. Look at me, see, look, I'm censoring myself, guys. You heard that? I said freak. How does okay, I don't know. I think that, like, I don't know what to say about that. Any memories or people of association? Okay, so yeah, that I don't know where I was going with that. God damn it. Anyways, so doing that, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that was it. I'm just gonna keep on going from there, guys. So yeah, just finding out the source of where those are coming from, asking questions. There you go. Asking questions, just keep asking questions. Like, okay, I'm gonna kind of do a run with you, like, with myself, so you can just kind of get an idea of how to go about it. Okay, this is not a personal example. I'm gonna do like a random example, okay? I get like super, okay, I'm gonna go with the guy. Example. I get really nervous around guys. This comes out, okay, so like I'm super mean to guys, right? Like every time, like, and it's my ego. Like, I'm like, man, whatever, guys are nothing, blah blah blah, and that's all ego. It just gives me more power, right? But why is my ego reacting like this? Why does it have such a thing against guys? Look, this is me going through the question process, okay? So why do I have such a thing against guys? Well, actually, maybe I actually feel like, let me think about my feelings. I actually feel like nervous around guys, and I feel like that kind of like blocks me, like, showing that I'm nervous, like, to show that I'm more powerful than them. It makes me feel less small and less nervous if I kind of act this way towards guys. But why do I act nervous around guys? Why do I feel nervous? What do guys have that make me nervous? What about guys make me nervous? I feel like maybe they're intimidating. They seem bigger than me. Well, what about the guys in my life? Am I nervous around the guys in my life? Let me think of any guys that I'm nervous around in my life. And then maybe it's my father. And then I'm like, why does my dad make me nervous? And then I think about how affirmative he is. And then it might trigger me being yelled at when I was younger, maybe abused. And I think about how scared I was when I was younger around my dad. I was always nervous around him. So now, because I was nervous in front of my dad when I was younger because he abused me and because he yelled at me, then now I'm nervous around guys in general. And then that makes me try to act more powerful than them. So you kind of see how this goes, how it's kind of just like one after the other, and then you just kind of keep going down and down and down and down until you find the absolute source. So I guess the source of that example was I was abused. Well, okay, I'm not going to say I was abused, but the person in the example, me speaking, was abused when they were younger. Now, how would they deal with that? Now, that's inner child work. That's another form of shadow work, which is dealing with your inner child. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this week, but inner child work is a form of shadow work. It's talking to that inner child within you. Now, we all have an inner child within us. We are still the children that we are, and I think about this all the time because inner child work. And I'm not dealing a lot, but I've been focusing a lot on my inner child more recently, just because it's important. And I've always been childlike, and I'm enjoying those aspects of my life more because, well, okay, when I first moved to California, I was very preoccupied when I first moved here, but once I actually got settled in here, I was realizing how much more grown I have been because I became more independent. Everything was by myself. I wasn't staying with anybody that I knew. I was living by myself. I had all these, I had stuff to pay for on my own. I needed a job. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't let you like, it just makes you feel like your whole childhood is gone. And I didn't give myself the chance to move, like, transition properly, I guess you could say. But maybe, and then I thought about it a lot too, and this is a lot of stuff I'm still working with personally now, is that I think, I don't want to say I grew up too fast, because I don't think I did. I think I did. I had a good childhood. Like, I was a child for a lot of it, but I feel like I still could have kept that childhood aspect more years further. And I feel like when it came around my preteen years, that I was moving around and I was going through the depression, I feel like around there was kind of when I lost that childhood innocence, or that aspect of my life. And I think maybe that's kind of where, like, I lost it, because ever since then, like, I've always been, like, playful and childlike, of course, but I never embraced, that childish aspect of myself until more recently. And that was years ago. That was, like, my preteen years. And a lot of my depression may have been not from I guess, embracing that aspect of my life, or ignoring it. And I realized that when I became more self-sufficient, when I moved out here, and I was dealing with, like, kind of like a minor depression, about, missing that codependence, missing that not having to deal with so much, missing that innocence, missing that, not having to be an adult, I guess you can say. I think I talked about this in one of my episodes, earlier episodes, like really early episodes, and I kind of quoted a song from Roy Blair, and I found the song, it's called Hazel, and the beginning kind of starts like that, where he's talking about, and I miss my bunk beds and the sunsets and the old friends, and, like, that song made me cry the first time I heard it, because, and that's when I realized, like, when I first heard that song, like, it literally just came on my Spotify and I heard it and I started crying. It released, like, those emotions, and I realized that a lot of my sadness was coming from me longing for that kind of missed time in my childhood, I guess you could say. It wasn't missed, but I did miss it, and I wanted to go back to it. So that's also another example of how things can bring up memories and bring up traumas and things that need to be healed. But yeah, inner child work, I'm actually going to give you a meditation here. This is a really good exercise. But before I get into that, inner child work, we all have that inner child, and it's a voice within us. It's going back to, we are still that child. We are still that child who may not have healed, who is just forced into being adult because our body is growing. And we do age by years. So as expected, once you reach a certain age, okay, you're graduating from high school, okay, by this age or this year you should be going into college, you should be studying, you should get a job by this age, you should have a family by this age. And it's so much responsibility, like, you feel like you have to do all of this by these certain ages, that you're kind of forcing yourself to grow up faster than you should be, or that you naturally are supposed to, I guess you can say. So I felt like I became independent too fast personally, and I think it was around, by the time I graduated high school, I felt like I was already independent. Yes, I was living with my mom still, and I didn't have a job, but I had just started, planning on leaving to California and, making money and being on my own. And once I left home, that was just me straight from there. I didn't have time to be codependent. I had nobody to be codependent on. It was just me. I had to work. I had to get money. I had to plan my future. So, and that's still now. And where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, I've been ignoring my inner child. Anyways, a lot of us are probably ignoring our inner child. My inner child, like, I'm still that child. Like, I'm still that child, except I have more experience in life and more knowledge and more wisdom and more responsibilities, but I am still that child, and you still are that child. You just have more responsibilities, you have more experience, you have a little more bit more traumas, maybe you have more things to work through, but you are still that child, and that child voice is still within you. And this is what inner child work is talking to that inner child voice, the one that wants to play and just be childlike and do fun things and do this and do that. It's still within you, that still feels sad about things, that gets scared. It is a child within you. And inner child work is talking to that child, finding out what it wants, what it needs to be complete. And believe it or not, doing that makes you feel so much more complete, because you are tending to all aspects of yourself. You are trying to make yourself feel complete, feel whole, feel happy, and that is a large aspect of that. So a great meditative exercise. Now, this isn't exactly inner child work. I thought it was, but I just thought about it, and it's actually not inner child work. But this is a great meditation and exercise to heal things that you're not sure the source of, or it's kind of like a shadow work exercise or meditation exercise. But I learned this from a book, and I don't have the book with me. I gave it to my friend Betty, who I gave it to her, I think, over a year ago, and I think she read the book, she finished it or whatever, but we just haven't seen each other since. But we need to reconnect. Anyways, she has the book. Oh, what is it called? I really don't know what it's called. It's by, I think his name is Chris Grosso. The last name is definitely Grosso. I don't know if the first name is Chris. It may be. I'm pretty sure it's Chris Grosso. And I think it's called something like, it's something about, the word spiritual, isn't it? And it's a really cool looking book. And he's kind of like a punk rocker, skater, ex-alcoholic, and how he found spirituality after alcoholism, and how it helped him. And he has so many great meditative exercises in it, like, it's insane. And the exercise I'm about to share with you, I had an intense spiritual experience with it, guys. I'll tell you right after I give you the exercise, but this was one of my most intense spiritual experiences, like, physically, where I felt it, and it was insane. And, like, I didn't even spend too much time on it, and it released this kind of experience. So this is a very powerful technique. I didn't know how powerful it was until I actually did it, and it happened, and I was freaking out, because nothing like that has ever happened to me before. So anyways, this exercise is, when you feel an emotion arise, say a situation happens, right? Say somebody like dumps you or turns you down, stands you up. Say somebody stands you up, right? You go on a date and they don't show up, right? And it releases this type of emotion within you, and you're really hurt, or you're angry, or whatever that emotion may release. This is the exercise. Sit with yourself, close your eyes, calm your mind a little. You don't have to be in complete, like, meditative state, but calm your mind. Take some deep breaths. Sit with yourself as if you were ready or about to get into meditation, basically. So calm yourself, calm your mind, sit down, and then think about this emotion, think about the situation, and think about the emotion that arises within you. Think about that anger, think about that sadness, and sit with it. Now, take that emotion, take that experience, that emotion, and wrap it in a blanket. See it as a physical kind of small thing. See it as like a little baby. Wrap it in a blanket and cradle it, cuddle with it, cradle it. Tell it, it's okay, it's okay. This experience is okay. You are okay. And just cradle it like a baby in a blanket. Cradle that experience, cradle that feeling, and just let yourself know, let that experience know that it's okay. You are okay. Let it okay. Treat it like a baby. Make sure you know you're going to care for it, that you love it. It's okay, that you are safe. Everything is okay. That is the main thing, right? Cradle it. That is all I did, okay? That's the exercise. And then I guess the result is supposed to be like, so the result is you're supposed to feel lighter. You're supposed to feel like it is okay, and it kind of releases, it passes. That is the meditation, is releasing that emotion, letting yourself know it's okay and releasing it. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, okay? So this was something, and I wrote this, I have a study book. I mentioned this before. I have a notebook where I write like my personal studies. And this was like one of the first experiences that went into my personal study, because I was like, and this was when I was heavy into like my study stuff, where I had to know everything. Like this was like where I was super studying, and I had the study book and all of that. And so this happened to me. And so anyways, this was the experience. My dad called me. So I was sitting there studying. I was just like doing what I usually do, and my dad calls me. I felt like I haven't talked to him in a while. Maybe I'm not too sure. I don't remember. This is back in 2016, guys. And he calls me, and I guess I felt like I haven't spoken to him in a while. And he was like, "Oh, I'll come pick you up. Let's have lunch." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool." And then I hung up, and then I was like, "Yay!" And I said it out loud too. But once I said it out loud, it felt weird. I was like, why? But like it was weird. I was just like, oh yay, like I'm gonna see like my dad. But then like as soon as I did that, I felt sadness. It was weird. It was like I saw that excitement and that happiness for me to see him at like as a cover for sadness. Like I felt like maybe I was sad that I haven't seen him in a while, or like maybe I was sad that like I didn't feel as connected to him. I'm not too sure why I felt sad. It might have been like incompleteness. Like, I don't know. It was weird. Either which way, I wasn't really sure. And I automatically, because I was reading the book at the same time, I was like, I know a great exercise for this. And I went back to that exercise in the book, and I did the exercise. I sat with myself, and I was like, I sat with those feelings, that kind of sadness that I felt, and I wrapped it in a blanket, and I told myself it was okay. I did the whole meditative exercise. And then as I'm cradling it, right? This is all visually. I have my eyes closed. I see it in my head. As I cradle it, I see it like turn into light. And then like as it's turning into light, I feel something being lifted, like physically lifted from me, like a weight is being lifted from my shoulders. So like I feel like something's releasing from me as it's like shining brighter and light, and it's like releasing, right? And then it just disappeared. Like the whole vision of me holding it, everything disappeared. Like it just kind of rose into light and then vanished. The whole vision disappeared, and I was sitting with myself with this feeling of lightness like over my body. And like I felt like a giant weight has been lifted from my shoulder. I felt so much lighter, like physically so much lighter. And then as I'm sitting with myself with this feeling, I'm like, wow, a weight has been lifted from my shoulder. I've released this. As I'm sitting with it in awe with this feeling, my root chakra, okay, this is why okay. At this point in my life, I was convinced that chakras did not exist. And then I have this experience, right? No, actually, I wasn't convinced that. I'm not too sure. I think I believe chakras existed. I'm not too sure. I think I was still skeptical on the idea of chakras. So, my root chakra, if you don't know where that is the space in between your genitals, basically. So it's between your butthole, to say, or your penis or your vagina. It is that space in between, not like on the outside, but inside, but in that space. It is where your reproductive organs are, but a little lower. It is the base of your spine. It's the base of your spine, basically. There you go. It's the base of your spine. That is your root chakra. I felt the base of my spine, my root chakra. Now, this could have been Kundalini energy, or it could have been a chakra experience. Who knows? When it happened, I automatically associated it with a chakra experience, and I feel like I should have related it with a Kundalini experience. But Anyways, the base of my spine, because that is also where Kundalini energy is held. It is held in the base of your spine. So it started vibrating. Like, first I felt a pressure there, like a growing pressure. Like, it started off soft and it started growing, and I was like, what the heck is this feeling? So then it started softly vibrating, and I was like, what the heck? So I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is my root chakra. I'm opening my root chakra. Like, that is what I thought. So then I focused on it. This is what I did. I focused on my root chakra, and it started vibrating even faster. Now, this is okay. I've never had an experience like this. I'm not making this up. Like, I can't make this up. Like, I have this written in my notebook. Like, it started vibrating a lot, and I was like, oh my gosh, let me see if I can move the energy upward. Now, I've done a similar exercise before. I did not feel the vibrating or anything like that. This is the first time this happened to me. But I would do chakra opening guided meditations where you would start from the root chakra and work your way up to the crown chakra, and you would have to focus on it, feel the pressure, and this is all kind of like mentally done. Think of a color. So this is all stuff that I've like done before. So I'm kind of just going through my chakra guided meditation ritual as I have before, but now only that, not like they're vibrating really fast. So I was like, okay, let me try to channel the energy upward. So I start trying to move it upward, and it starts moving upward. Now, where my sacral chakra is, that is like in where the belly is, like where your basically reproductive organs are, where your lower abdomen is, that starts vibrating. And it's vibrating like hard. Then at this point, like, my heartbeat is racing so fast. Like, my heart is racing so fast. One, because I'm freaking out that this is actually happening to me in real life. And then I also think it had to do with energy. The energy was very fast and powerful, that it was making my heartbeat fast, like really fast. So I start moving it past my sacral chakra to my heart chakra, where my heart is. At this point, my heartbeat is racing. Like, it is racing. It is going so fast. But also, as it starts moving upward, my face is twitching uncontrollably. Like, by my eyebrow, it was like my eyebrow, and then like my left eye, my right eyebrow, and then like the corner of my mouth uncontrollably twitching, like having muscle spasms. Like, my face, like certain parts of my face was having muscle spasms. My heart rate was so fast, but I was also freaking out because my face was twitching like uncontrollably. I was like, this is so real. Like, my face, my body, my lower body is vibrating immensely. My face is twitching. My heartbeat is fast. Like, this was such a real experience, guys. Like, I cannot make this up. And anyway, so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so real. So I'm moving the energy upward. I'm moving it up to my throat. I feel it in my throat now. I'm moving it, and then I move it to my third eye. I feel it intensely in my third eye. My face is twitching like crazy. My heartbeat is up. I'm focusing on my third eye. And then I move it to my crown chakra. Now, like, I tried moving it to my crown chakra, but I didn't feel it so much in my crown chakra. I think I only made it to the, like, my third eye chakra, and the crown chakra is the next one and the last one, for the main 8 chakras. But, or is it 7? I think it's 7. Main 7 chakras. But as I got to the crown chakra, I just sat with myself there. But as I'm going through these chakras, you know, I'm saying like, okay, I feel, I love, like, I'm going through like the whole chakra stuff, and I'm imagining green energy, I'm imagining red energy, I'm imagining orange energy, I'm doing all the chakra stuff, you know. And as I get to the crown chakra, I'm like, I'm saying like chakra phrases, like, I understand, like, I am I don't know if I said I am enlightened, I know, I see, stuff like that. And I don't remember it hitting my crown chakra. Like, I remember kind of like wondering like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like, what, like, do I need to do something else? I remember feeling in my third eye chakra, not as much as I was feeling it in my lower half of my body. Like, but my body was vibrating. At this point, like, my whole body was vibrating. I felt it in my center, like, in my center, but also my hands were tingling, my arms were tingling, my feet were tingling. And at that point, I was just sitting there with it. Like, I wasn't moving it anywhere. I was just sitting there with that feeling. I was just sitting there, and then I opened my eyes. I opened my eyes to see what I would see, and I saw, like, this whole time my eyes were closed. Everything was so much brighter. I felt lightheaded. I felt like just like alive, basically. And the vibrations died down once I switched my focus. Like, once I stopped focusing on the vibrations and the feeling and sitting with it, they started to die down really fast. So then I was like, wait, let me see if I can bring it back up. So then once it would die down, I sat with myself again, and I started focusing on the energy, and then the vibration started increasing, and then I kind of let it fade, and then I let it increase. Like, I was kind of exercising it to see how I can control it, and to see if this was actually like I was like double checking to make sure that was a real experience, because it was intense. But that was it. And then I just let it fade, and then I was like, okay, like, I think that was it. I'm not too sure if that was it. I don't think so, because I haven't had an experience like that probably since. I think the only similar experiences that I've had, like spiritual experiences that affect my physical body, I would say is on acid, maybe, like, or just like a psychedelic, maybe. I'm not too sure. But nothing natural like that. That was the only natural, physical, spiritual experience that I've ever had. And I say it's spiritual because it was energy that I was working with, and I'm pretty sure it was Kundalini energy. I think I turned it into a chakra thing. And maybe if I saw it as Kundalini energy, I might have done something right. Or maybe if I rotated the energy rather than trying to bring it upward. I don't know. There could have been a lot of things I could have done. I didn't know as much then that I do now, but I feel like I put in more work back then, because I want to know why, like, that happened. And that was 4 years ago. That was 2016. We're in 2020, and I haven't had an experience since. But I know way more stuff now than I did then. But maybe I was putting in more physical work. Like, I was actually doing those exercises, but I don't really remember doing that much work back then either. I don't know. It was pretty weird. But anyways, that was the experience that I had from that simple meditation. And if you guys have a weird experience with that, like, please tell me, like, with that meditation or any meditation, like, please share your thoughts. If you are listening to this on Anchor and you have had a similar experience, send in voice messages. I think if you send in voice messages, I can add the voice messages into the podcast, and then, like, I can play them so people can also hear your experiences, so I can share experience. If not, send me voice messages. Maybe no, not on Instagram, because I can only hear that once and then I can't play it back. And no. Maybe email them, I don't know, or just text me, write to me on Instagram, tell me your experience, and I will read it out loud on the podcast and tell everybody. Maybe other people have had similar experiences and you're looking for somebody to connect with, or I don't know, just tell me your experience. I'm genuinely interested on the type of experiences that you have in meditation. But anyways, that was a little bit about shadow work, inner child work. I kind of gave you a bonus meditative experience and bonus meditation and my experience with it. So that was pretty much it, what I had written down for shadow work. If you would like me to go more in depth about shadow work, please let me know. Like, let me know, actually. Like, don't say, like, oh, somebody else is gonna let her know. Like, nobody else is gonna let me know. You are the one who is gonna let me know if I should do it. And I am listening to every single one of you. Like, I will listen to every single one of you, and I will decide whether or not I should do this video. So let me know if you want to hear more about shadow work, if you want to hear more about inner child work specifically, if you want more meditative exercises, if you heard me say anything that you want me to talk more about, just if you want me to talk about anything in specific, let me know. Write to me on Instagram. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth, Natalia of Earth, this planet Earth. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I thought it was going to be a short one, but I made it an hour anyways. And yes, I'm so sorry that this was not video recorded. Please give me your feedback, what you think I should do about YouTube. I probably will video record next week's episode. I may have a freer schedule, but who knows? I may have a more busy schedule since I will be getting another job and might not have time to actually video record. But if I have time to video record, like if I have time to audio record, I have time to video record. So I don't know, but just tell me your guys' thoughts. If you want more YouTube videos from me, just tell me anything. Talk to me. I love you guys so much. Thank you again for listening, and I will talk to you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you are blessed unconditionally, and remember Ja. All right, peace guys.